At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Central Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 501-244-3667, or visit our website at directserviceoverhead.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
All right, everybody, happy Friday. Boy, it's a super extra Friday, awesome Friday, right? Super extra awesome Friday because fall camp day 1 started today. How cool, how cool, how cool. All right, legendary status members, Thomas Nunley, Timothy Wysant, Will Watkins, shout out to those guys. Let's get this thing started, huh? Football's in the air. 3, 2, 1. Yo. This is a good one. Oh man, I can't tell you guys how challenging the off season is. And then you get into like camp, which is just straight up preseason. Oh man, it just makes the world so much better, nicer. We need escapism. I know you guys need escapism, and that's why you're here. And you love your Razorbacks, but I mean, we all need to kind of get away. You know, the world feels like it's crazy right now, doesn't it? All right. Got a couple things. First off, shout out to, I already mentioned the legendary status members. Shout out to all Patreon supporters. I was hoping the Patreon would roll through today. It did not. So I can't update the names until that list is sent to me by Patreon. You guys know the routine. It'll probably get sent tomorrow. So that's okay. We'll try and have that updated for you guys, the entire Patreon list by Monday. All right, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. If you're new here, you need to hit the subscribe button. That's what you need to do. Also, well, you guys know I go on Mark Rogers' show every once in a while. We talk, of course, a little bit about the SEC and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Yesterday, I had the privilege of hopping on a podcast. I want to go ahead and give these guys a shout out. Now, I was going to retweet some of their stuff here, but don't read the comments podcast. I can't find their stuff on Twitter, but shout out to them. I had for the first time ever, a lot of you guys also know I love my whiskey. I like drinking whiskey with a cigar, and they were so awesome, Tim and Travis. They gifted me a bottle of Doughball whiskey. Now, I love flavored whiskey, man. I don't care. Yeah, I can drink it straight up. I like whiskey, but flavored whiskey, and this stuff was fantastic. So I'm going to give them, this is a free spot for these guys. This stuff is awesome. It's delicious. You gotta be careful because once it touches the lips, you know. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour me a glass, while also giving a special shout out to the sponsors, to Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company located or they operate out of rather Central Arkansas and Northwest Arkansas. Same day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes. Hundreds of 5-star reviews. You saw their ad before, and if you haven't, listen, I'm getting work done. You guys know I've talked about that too for a while. And Direct Service Overhead, will be installing the doors, so I'm really excited about that. Also, the Odd Soul Craft Bar and Pizzaria, fantastic pies. They're located on Emma Street here in Springdale. great pies, great staff, awesome environment. Really, really super thrilled to have both those sponsors on board. So, yeah. Links provided for you guys down below. Okay, so cheers. This is Dough Ball. Did I call it something else earlier? I feel like I might have been distracted. Dough Ball, cookie dough whiskey, and this stuff, I'm telling you. Dude, that's up there. As far as flavored whiskey, it's so up there. So I was on their pod. It's like, we don't know how long it's going to be. I think it's going to be something like 2.5, 3 hours long. I'm not going to lie to you. We got it got a little crazy. So I highly recommend you guys going and watching it as soon as it's completely cut up and edited and everything. And it's public. I'll send you guys a link in Discord. Okay. Let's see if this works. Hang on just a second. We have Pittman in our picture-in-picture here. So I went ahead and uploaded some stuff that Pittman had to say today after fall camp. I was there. Your boy was there. I was at practice today. We had to get there super early, 6:45. They let us in at 7 o'clock. So I've been up really since about 4:30. And I'm probably running on about 3-4 hours of sleep. I'm feeling it. So this will really hit the spot and then some, right? I'm probably as soon as I'm done here, I'm probably going to take a nap. But so Pittman had some interesting things to say. We got to hear from KJ Jefferson a little bit, Jacoby Criswell, strength conditioning coach Souders. Now, I don't have his video. That guy talked for like 40 minutes or something. I don't know if it was that long. It was a long time, but I do have the transcript, and we'll kind of go over some of the stuff that he had to say as well. All right, let's get caught up here in the live chat. Can you tell? I'm telling you guys, I am tired. I'm gonna do what I can to get through this. Okay, you guys know I love doing it, but I love talking with you guys, doing the live chats. I really do. But I'm feeling it right now. I'm freaking tired. Mike and them says, football's back, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Let's refresh this page here really quick, and we'll pull up. I got about 4.5 minutes of Pittman, what he had to say today. I don't know what's going on with chat. It is not letting me pull up the whole list here. So I'm sorry. I can't read half of chat. Boy, I tell you, YouTube, you're something else. So I can read what I see is where Mike and them says football's back, baby, and that's it. And then everything above that's gone. Cameron Gray, how much is that whiskey? That's a really good question. I don't know. You'll have to reach out, or I'll reach out to those guys and find out. That's actually a really good question. I'm sorry, I don't have that answer. I don't have that answer for you. But again, it's Dough Ball, cookie dough whiskey. Stoked for the local kid. To me, Justin Logan committing to the Hogs. Yeah, Arkansas got some commits. That's right, they did. We'll have to go over that too here in a little bit. The NFL game was horrendous yesterday. Yeah, the preseason game. Who was it? Cleveland and somebody, right? I don't even know. I'm so behind with the NFL this year. Ty was up and posting way earlier than normal in Discord today. I was. Yeah, that's right. It was the Jets. Oh gosh. It is preseason football, but that's like the worst of the worst. I'm kind of surprised I'm able to drink this without really it's we felt it yesterday, guys. I'm telling you, man, that podcast was a lot of fun. So again, shout out to Tim and Travis. But day drinking is not for everybody. It's certainly not for me. How much coffee did you have to drink this morning? I drank a whole can of the sugar-free, the Monster stuff, whatever. It's just got a bunch of caffeine in it. All right. I'm going to pull up that commit too here really fast before we pull up the videos. I'm gonna play. We're gonna watch what Sam. It's 4 to 4.5 minutes. Of just stuff that's cut up. It's not all just Sam, it's mostly Sam. Actually, it might be majority Sam. But we're going to kind of cut it up, and we're going to respond to it, as we go. Make sure my sound here. So I may have to kind of mute my mic as we go here. All right, here we go. Okay, Dozier today. He's talking about Davion Dozier, the freshman wide receiver. Yeah, he had an impressive grab today. Absolutely. What's up, Beer Talk? What's going on, buddy? How you doing? So here we go. Let's keep this going here. I gotta mute my mic though because my speakers pick up the sound. You guys aren't getting sound. That's weird. It's showing sound on my end. You're not getting sound? Hang on. That's strange. The Pittman audios, it lights up when he talks. Hang on, let me fix it. Hang on. Okay. So what he had said, though, he had talked about Davion Dozier, and he was asked about Augustive. By the way, it's Augustive. I was so hoping he would go by Augustave, but no, it's Augustive. Which I knew it probably was. It just be so it rolls off the tongue. It rolls off the tongue so well. Okay, let's try this again. I don't know why it wasn't pushing audio. That's really strange. See, when you dabble into stuff that you don't normally do on your shows. Here we go. All right, let's try that again.
You look at our team and we're big, and obviously the guys can run and things, but yeah, I thought Augustov did some good things. He's a big running back now, a big, good-looking kid that can run, can move. And of course, Davion, he made a couple of catches today, and he looks like a SEC wide receiver, and both of them really good kids, know how to work.
I get asked a lot about whether the transfer receivers and the guys who were younger, Jadon Wilson and that group, are going to be SEC level receivers. But we watch Andrew Armstrong today. I was going to ask you about the receiving core, and then Andrew Armstrong just is making catches.
Yeah, I think KJ will be able to answer that better than I do, but not right now. But he can answer it here in a minute. But he's fast and he's big. It's kind of, I'm a D2 player, where I was in AIA, but they're D2 now. It's kind of neat to bring a couple guys from Division II ball that had, both I think had about 1,000 yards in catches, and then, they developed later. And here comes Armstrong, and he's fast and big. We was talking about it actually on the golf cart ride over here, because he had made a catch in it from KJ in a 2-minute drill. And I think KJ really believes in him and those things, but you got him and Tesla, and I was excited about Satagna. He did some good things today. Part of it was his blocking, his ability to go in there and mix it up. But with Wilson and Bach.
So yeah, I don't know what's going on with the sound. I don't know why I'm having to mute different elements on OBS. But anyways, didn't see a lot of Centennial today. I only saw Centennial targeted once, but they were doing one-on-ones on each side of the field, and I saw him. I'm pretty sure it was him, 16, that caught the ball, and of course he looks fast. We all know he's probably one of the 5 fastest, and we'll get into that too. They talked about the miles per hour these guys are running, and how Armstrong absolutely. That guy has looked the part since spring. And I've been saying that since spring. I've been saying since week 2 of spring camp, this dude is just consistent. And he's finding ways, he's finding ways. He's getting open one way or another. So, yeah, I'm glad that they were talking. I'm glad that was brought up.
Okay, and those guys, I just feel like we're going to have a nice receiver core, and we certainly have the size that we need out there.
And Jaden Wilson missed some time in the spring. What do you think about kind of how they look today and how they're returning?
Yeah, I think that, Wilson would have a little bit because he's been in a system, not necessarily in Dan's system, but in our system as a team. So I wasn't too concerned about him, and he showed up today because he showed up all summer, And Broden was the one where, he doesn't understand our system, doesn't understand the offensive system, that I felt like got hurt in spring because of that. But as far as I know, without watching the tape, I know he made a few catches today and did some good things.
And how do you think the quarterbacks, besides KJ, threw the ball today?
I thought they did well. Fortin had some nice throws in there. Jacoby, and again, you'll have to ask KJ because he knows more about it than I do, but it seemed like Jacoby was a little more relaxed or confident. I don't know the word.
I agree with that. I thought Jacoby Criswell looked a lot more confident in throwing the ball. They did do some. They did some fastball, and he didn't look as, I don't know. He didn't look as overwhelmed. In spring camp, I thought Jacoby Criswell, especially in the beginning, I thought he looked really overwhelmed. And that's to be expected. I mean, this is a new team for him, new system, new style, new head coach, all that stuff. And yet again, you had to get through summer camp, and then he shows up day one. I thought he looked pretty good. But he does look more relaxed. I don't think that there's any competition that he's QB2. Maybe Cade Fortin, because he's been around since 1962. Maybe Cade Fortin could challenge him, but I just don't see it. And I don't mean to toss shade at anybody. I don't like to, I'm not trying to throw mud in the guy's eye. I just don't think he's a backup quarterback in this league. I've just never been on the Fortin train as far as being QB2. And it's nice to have someone like Jacoby Criswell, right? It's nice to have someone like that backing you up. We also don't know really how good he is until he gets out there and faces some competition. Hopefully in these first 3 weeks, you've got a cupcake part of your schedule. I don't know. Some people might think that BYU might actually be a challenge before you enter into SEC play. But maybe you blow these guys out and we get to see Jacoby Criswell come out and play, get some snaps, get some opportunities in the fourth quarter. You hope that's the situation, because if it's not, and you're still having to use KJ all the way through 4 quarters, to clear out a game or two, that might be a little bit of a concern. Let's finish this out here.
Today than what he ever was in the spring. I felt like the summer and the guys doing the OTAs on their own and all that stuff helped him. And, a lot of it has to do with talent. A lot of it has to do with what my mind's telling me, motivation-wise or confidence-wise. And I felt like he was night and day from where he was in the spring. I felt like he knew what he was doing, and he made some checks and things of that nature that he might not have done in spring ball. Threw the ball well. He got a really strong arm.
The way some people I know in Georgia were talking about Singletary is like, yeah, he's going to be real good, but he's still skinny. He's actually pretty.
He's not skinny anymore.
No, but he's made quite a
Nor am I, but I mean that's another topic.
He going to help y'all this year?
Absolutely, and no doubt in my mind he'll help us. And he's a big, thick guy, that can run. And we didn't get him developed. We were going to develop, but we need some help. So he got to get out there as quick as possible. And
there we go. Okay. Yeah. And there's some more footage. I don't have it uploaded though, so maybe I'll do that next week. All right. So there's a little bit from Sam. He talked about too how big we are, how big Arkansas is. So scrolling up here in the transcript, talking about, well, let's go back to what he said about the defensive line. Someone asked about the size, and he says, I like them. We're big. They run. They play well together. It starts out on the ends. We're huge at defensive end right now, which they are, and guys can run. Let's see, blah, 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 blah. He talked a little bit about Kyvie Rose, Keon Stewart. I thought he said of Stewart, I thought he moved well. I was mostly looking at some of the new guys in Indy, some of the new guys I hadn't seen before, move around a little bit. But we're big, and those guys can move. Certainly that should help us in the run. I did think that Arkansas's run defense at times was also suspect, but a lot of that is, we saw what they did last year with their formation with how they played up front. It was a 3-man front. They played primarily with a 3-man front. Of course you're going to be able to run the ball. When you're backing everybody off into coverage, really you've got maybe 5 guys in the box, maybe 6 at the most. Not all the time. Yeah, of course, sometimes they'd stack 7 every once in a while, but it was mostly a 3-man rush. It's not that hard to slip in. It's not hard to slip in between the cracks, when you're as thin as Arkansas was at defensive line, and then on top of running a 3-man front. All right, I got a chance to go watch the tight ends a little bit this morning. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm having a hard time buying that Gums is 6'3". Gums is probably every bit of about 6'2". I don't know. It's hard to tell, but he walked kind of right by me, and I'm not exactly huge, but I'm also I'm fat, no doubt about that, but I'm not, you know what I mean. I'm not 6'5". And that guy with cleats on, I'd be really shocked if he weighed in or if he measured out at 6'3". He, again, like I told Mark Rogers on his show, reminds me so much of DJ Williams. Like, he's that smaller frame, athletic tight end. Didn't see him do much. Just saw them kind of working out. I wanted to see if he how quick. Sometimes you kind of look at, like, how are they reacting? What's their body language? How are they kind of reacting to the coaching that they're receiving? And he was all in it, man. He certainly was involved, but I didn't stick with the tight ends for too long. But I did get a chance to see him and some other guys. They do look. They have put on weight. All the tight ends have put on weight. Every one of them. I think Luke Haas. What is Haas up to now? 245, right? He's put on a little bit of weight. Yeah, he's 242, 6'3", 242. Ty Washington now is 6'4", almost 250 pounds. Yeah, they've got Varkey's Gums at 6'3", 242. Maybe if he's, I don't know. I guess it depends on, I always say what gas station you walk out of. If you ever notice, they're trying to measure, when they get robbed, they want to know how tall the guy was that robbed them. So I guess that's why that's there. So you can kind of look and measure yourself, especially the Easy Mark gas stations. So maybe at some Easy Mark gas stations, he's 6'3". But I wish I could have seen him more. I did see, let's see, I think I saw Shamar Easter. He's they have him listed at 80 on the website. It was tough to get a good idea, see who was who. Nathan Bax has put on weight. They've got him at 6'4", 250. And he did look a little bit more. It's, again, hard to tell. It's not like he put on 40 or 50 pounds, but he definitely he looked thicker to me than he did back in last fall camp or even spring camp. Francis Sherman, by the way, that was another guy. We talked about this when we were breaking down the depth chart last week. Or was that last week? We were talking about Sherman and how these tight ends need to gain some weight. I think it was last week. I know we did the roster breakdown last week, but I seem to remember talking about Sherman being a little bit undersized. They've got him at right under 250 pounds, 6'3", 250. And again, Ty Washington, who's 6'4". Let's see. Yeah, Shamar Easter is your tallest tight end. Well, tied for your tallest tight end at 6'5", 223 pounds. That's skinny for a tight end. He's definitely going to need to bulk up. There's some people that seem to think that Easter's going to come in and contribute. I have such a hard time with that because anything can happen during fall camp. And when I mean contribute, I don't mean just playing special teams or maybe getting some mop-up duty or whatever. Like, there are a couple of people who believe he's going to come in and really get some serious playing time. I just don't know that I see that right now. Nathan Bax, it's clear that they like Nathan Bax. They like Luke Haas. Sam Pittman today bragged on him and his brother. Well, bragged on the Haas brothers being tough. You could tell how much they like him. You could tell how much the quarterbacks like Haas. To me, it's Nathan Bax and Luke Haas, probably Ty Washington, going to be your 3 primary tight ends, mixed in with the blockers, right? Like I just mentioned him. Where's he at? The Louisville transfer. Where's he at? Francis Sherman. He'll probably come in and get some blocking duties. But yeah, no, so I got to see the tight ends. What I will say with the wide receivers, I was pretty impressed once again. I mean, this dude is, and I told Ty Richardson this earlier today, that Isaac Tesla is a human highlight reel. I don't remember who posted the video. It might have been maybe Mason Choate, but I saw the play, and it was a bomb, and he caught it. It looked to me like he caught the ball, had to kind of sacrifice his body for it. Tesla does this almost every single practice. This guy is sacrificing his body. He can make I think this dude's catch radius is just magnificent. I'd love to compare hand sizes between him and Treylon Burks. You know, Burks did have big hands. He didn't have the biggest hands we thought that he had. I don't know what it is. This dude catches everything. Centennia, or not, did I say Centennia? I'm sorry, Tesla. I'm telling you, boys. Whiskey and 4 hours of sleep, not a good mix. Even if it was just a couple shots there, or a couple sips. But Isaac Tesla again, 6'4", 226. He's also killing it in the weight room. He's benching quite a bit, 300, and I think he's up to about 345 bench, if I read that right in the transcript. I mean, he's doing everything in the offseason necessary to be able to be a heavy contributor on the field this year. Tesla is who I don't know if I said Centennia earlier or not. I probably did. I'm sorry. Tesla has he's looked the part. And he did get off to a slow start in spring camp. But again, everybody did. But yeah, Isaac Tesla certainly looks the part. He's acting the part. He's, you know, in terms of what he's doing out on the practice field, apparently in the weight room, he's got a go get 'em kind of attitude. You know, he wants to take it day by day and win every day. And I love that mentality with a wide receiver. And that's only going to help everybody else in the weight room, man. That's going to help everybody else in the weight room. When you have someone like that in the weight room, that's a big deal. Again, 6'4", to me, he looks closer to like 225. You know, he damn near looks like a tight end, a slimmer tight end, right? But really impressed with him. I only saw that one circus catch. I think he had another catch in their one-on-one drills. Now, the guy that everyone is talking about today is Andrew Armstrong. 6'4", probably around, I think, again, they have him at 201. I think he's probably closer to 205, something like that. Andrew Armstrong, guarded by Johnson, beat him off the line of scrimmage. And if you watch the video, it's out there. He had 2 steps. He had 2 steps on a guy that's a potential starter. All right, now let me brag for a second. I liked what I saw out of Tesla, and I really have liked what I've seen out of Andrew Armstrong. Since spring camp, man, since week 2 of spring camp, this dude I've said, and Otis Kirk said it too, he really liked Andrew Armstrong. Also, Centennia had a really strong, consistent spring camp. But Andrew Armstrong, he looks the part of an SEC wide receiver. He has the potential, him and Tesla both, I think, have all conference potential. Now, depending on how much they want to throw the ball, you know, depending on how much they want to rely on receivers on, you know, whatever, third and longs, maybe they're with these 2 tight end sets, I could certainly see them trying to throw the ball and get it out more to their tight ends. We know what Enos has done before with tight ends. He has quite the history. But how much he wants to get the running backs involved. By the way, they were throwing running backs the ball today. I don't know that I've seen – I was trying to think. I don't remember them doing that in the spring. Maybe they did. But they were actually throwing the ball like when they were working with their coaches, with their team, right? Because they split up into individual units, your tight ends, your running backs, your linebackers, your defensive line. Then on the other side of the field, you've got your DBs. On the far corner of the field, you've got the offensive line. So in their running back drills, they were throwing them the ball. So I think you are going to see the running backs get involved in the passing game a little bit. Maybe that means more screens. You know, I don't know. But, yeah, if they're going to throw the ball a lot and if they're going to try and stretch the field a little bit, I do feel pretty good about what's going on there. And Andrew Armstrong and Tesla, and I would even argue maybe Centennia, even though he didn't blow up today like he did certain times during spring camp, I think he's going to have a really good fall. I really do. I think he's going to have a good fall camp. Yeah, receivers are going to – I think they're going to play a bigger role this year. I think they're going to try and throw a little more. But yeah, one-on-one drills, I was really impressed with Andrew Armstrong. Now, here's the flip side to this. Let me get another sip. I'm trying to keep the energy in. And by the way, if you're just coming in and you're like, what's he drinking? It's dough ball, okay? I forgot what liquor stores have it, but it is really good. It's cookie dough whiskey. I'd never tried any until yesterday. And it is fantastic. It's not a good mix when you're on like 3 or 4 hours of sleep. The flip side to this, to the receivers looking so great today, is there something wrong with the secondary? And I've already had a couple DMs, 3 different text messages from people who are watching the stuff that's been uploaded either on my channel. I did upload a short earlier today, so if you haven't watched it, go watch it. But just from the content that's been provided by the media and by the U of A lot of people are freaking out about the secondary. Here's what I'm going to tell you, man. We also thought, coming out of spring camp last year, and I know we've talked about this a bunch, but I just want to use it as a reminder for anybody that might be new or maybe you missed it. We thought they were solid at corner, and I don't ever recall going to fall camp and being like, oh, my God, these receivers are going to be amazing. And we thought, Sam Pittman had said we're too deep at every position in the secondary coming out of spring camp. Now, maybe that was halfway through spring camp. I can't remember exactly. I thought it was post spring camp, but it might have been about halfway through when he talked with the media. I don't know. But he did say it at some point. This was last year, 2022, when he made that comment. And we all know the secondary was, hindsight being 2020, the secondary was atrocious. One of the worst in, I think, maybe even Razorback history. It was so bad. So we can't overreact to anything, positive or negative right now. I wouldn't watch these videos and be like, oh my God, we're doomed. That's an overreaction. Let's let it play out through fall camp. Let's get closer and closer to September before we start freaking out. And it could just be that the receivers are that good because they have made some outstanding plays, and they've done that. By the way, spring camp, I thought the corners I never saw, unless it was Luke Haas. I didn't see very many receivers. It seemed like a lot of their catches or a lot of the attempts were challenged by defensive backs. And that's a good sign. This could have been summer fatigue, first day back. They've been, they're lifting. They've been lifting 5 days a week, by the way. Last year it was 4 days a week. Again, I'm going to read that transcript here in a second, what the strength conditioning coach had to say. But I just wouldn't panic. And I wouldn't overreact to the receivers. I've also seen people, talking about so-and-so being a freak. Oh, this guy's going to be a freak of nature. Tyrone Broden, someone made that comment in our Discord because he ran a really fast, the miles per hour. Everyone's freaking out about the miles per hour thing. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. It does showcase team speed, but I think it might be one of the most overblown things ever. Like 40 time, at least you kind of understand the purpose of that. I mean, we know about the 0 to 60 thing when you're trying to time how fast your car is. It's about how fast you get to 60 miles an hour. It's nice that their top end speed is 22 miles an hour. I think they have 5 players that are doing that. That's great. That means they have high top end speed. That probably means these are going to be guys that can run downfield and stretch the field out. That's great in those terms. That doesn't necessarily mean these guys are lightning quick right off the line of scrimmage. Okay, some guys take a little bit longer to get to that 22 miles an hour. So there is a little bit of like, oh my God, we've got so much team speed and Broden's a freak and blah, 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 which maybe Broden is. I could, look, I think he's got an opportunity here. 6'7", 195 pounds. God, you should just be able to throw the ball up. He ought to win all those 50-50 jump balls. They ought to be like 7 or 60-40 or 80-20 balls for him. 6'7", and he's tall, man. I mean, that dude's walked right by me. He looks every bit 6'7" or a really tall 6'6". And I think he probably does have a little bit of a motor under him. But remember, it's about how quickly you get there. Not just the fact that you can run, it's great. Okay, maybe that means so-and-so is going to line up on the outside and they're going to run downfield and they're going to help stretch the field out. Absolutely. But again, it's about how quickly you get to that. So there's a lot of overreacting day one. I am hyped too. I get it. It's football. It's in the air. Thank you, God. It's in the air. I am also hyped. There are some things that I think I'm hoping we'll see consistently through fall camp. I'm hoping there's things that carry over from spring that we saw. That's also a big part of it, right? If you see some guys just completely taper off, you know, you kind of wonder, well, I wonder if they're getting beat in the weight room or maybe the new staff, they're not gelling like they were a little while back. Could be any of that. I was also pleasantly surprised to hear about Davion Dozier, 6'4", 205, another tall receiver. Like Sam said, they like them big. They like big receivers. And Dozier's someone, I don't know if it's a good sign that all your receivers had a good day. I don't know if that's a good sign or not. But again, it's day one. Let's not overreact, right? Let me go read. Let's pull up live chat here. Not too worried considering it's first day. There you go. Rhett with a very that's it, man. Unless they're in pads. Yeah, that's the other thing. They're not in pads yet. They're not in full pads. Unless they're in full pads and the DBs can jam, blah, 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 blah. Right. Sam is getting us back to old Arkansas football. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Rhett. Receivers always look good early. Well, I don't know about always. I don't remember last year being that blown away by those guys last year. Scrimmage next Saturday. Let's wait till then to make half-accurate opinions. You can have an opinion, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. What about the defense? So, again, we were given 6 periods today. We didn't get a chance to film in period 2, and they go by really quick. I didn't watch much of the defense today. I was mostly, like I said, watching the tight ends. I tried to kind of watch the offensive line, even though they're all the way on the other side of the field. It seems like the defense is mostly set. I know that there's some issues. Well, I shouldn't say issues. They're trying to figure out what some of these guys are going to do at nickel and safety. I don't know that the situation is as stable as maybe I thought it was. I thought it was a little bit more stable coming out of spring camp. And I mean stable, I mean like they have who they have, and they're going to roll with them. It sounds like there could be some movement. We'll wait and see kind of what they do with Walcott. We know Hudson Clark. How about Malik Chavis? He was one of the 5 guys that graded out at 22 miles an hour. I'm not going to lie to you. That is still impressive. I don't want to undermine the 20. That is pretty impressive to have 5 guys. Last year, I think they said you had 1. You had 1 player in the 22 mile an hour spot. If I had to say any guy in the secondary that was a concern for me, it would be Lorando Johnson. I will say that. I thought Lorando Johnson looked 2 steps behind. I mean, he got worked today. I'll just say it. I thought he got worked. We got to see Singletary a little bit. He made a really nice move. It was a completed pass. Don't ask me who the hell caught it, but he came back. Might have been a hitch or a comeback route, but he crashed it. He did a good job, man. I mean, remember, he's a redshirt freshman, former 5-star out of Georgia. I was pretty impressed with that. I mean, that's usually a high percentage reception, those comeback or hitch routes. And he did a good job reacting and making sure that the receiver, he wasn't going to go anywhere else. I thought he did a really good job. Defensive line is bigger, man. They are absolutely bigger. Again, did not watch them today. I didn't get a chance to watch them. I did see them moving from their groups. You could tell, yeah, they put on a little bit of weight. They put on some size. Offensive line, I don't know. So we know Terry Wells tore his pectoral. He's out. I don't know if I don't know. I don't think we've talked about that. Terry Wells tore his pectoral. He's out for a while. That's I don't know. That's a while. I don't anticipate him playing this year. We'll have to wait and see. He's a redshirt sophomore. So, but right now on that offensive line, you're looking at Devin Manuel, Brady Latham, Bo Limmer, Joshua Braun. I think they like him at right guard, and that's where he wants to be anyways. Patrick Kutas. And he's probably going to be backed up by Tykees Crawford. Someone asked about the defense. I don't know how they're going to line up on defense. I have Cam Ball and Torrin Carter mixed in with Eric Gregory, with those three guys rotating out pretty heavily, along with Anthony Booker. So those four guys for sure. Maybe a dash of Marcus Miller, Kyvie Rose, who again got bragged on a little bit today by Sam Pittman. Guys, I think they're legitimately 4 deep in terms of just having some of that quality depth, right? Having a little bit of that quality depth, and it feels like they're deeper. They've got size. They're going to be able to run that 4-man front pretty adequately. We'll have to wait and see. You've got Jeff Coate, Morgan, Jashad Stewart, and then Landon Jackson, Zach Williams, and I don't know what they're going to do with Nico. Nico's kind of he's going to be in the rotation somewhere, but he might we'll see where he's at by the end of fall camp. Linebackers, little bit of a I lost it. I don't have my well, again, that's another position we're going to have to wait and see how they kind of what they do as we get closer and closer to week 1. Of course, it's going to be Pupal, and then Antonio Greer, probably your 2 linebackers. Don't know about what's going on behind Greer. You're going to have Thomas, probably have Sanford, Carson Dean. Those are a couple of freshmen. And then behind Paul, it's probably going to be Manny Powell and Jordan Crook. So yeah, that's your defense. That's again what it's looking like. It didn't really look that much different to me with the defensive group that was in fastball today. Yeah, your tight ends, we already talked about that. Nathan Bax and Luke Hawes and probably Ty Washington. And I think that's how the 1, 2, and 3s went, actually, today. So, yeah. Up. They are deep in their depth, says Beer Talk. That's right. What's up, Big Time Butler? How you doing, man? Saw that Limmer was the highest-ranked hog on PFF Top 100 players. He was in the 20s. Yeah, that's not supply. I did see that list. It dropped today. Or maybe yesterday. I haven't had a chance to look at it. It's good to see that. It's good to see he's in that mix, in that bunch, as he should be. I never got a response from Rhett. What did he mean getting us back to old Arkansas football? You mean just like tough, hard-nosed, tough-knuckle defense or a line of scrimmage football? That's not necessarily a bad thing if you can control the line of scrimmage. All right, let's go ahead and wander on over to what was said today about lifting. Strength conditioning coach Ben Souders had a lot to say. Now, some of this is out of order a little bit, but he mentioned we've got 36% of our guys that wear the GPS that run 21 miles an hour or faster. And that's, again, according to Souders. We've got 5 guys who could run 22 or faster, and then 61% of our team that can cover 20 miles per hour. And that includes offensive line, defensive line, tight ends, skill position. You've got over half your team being able to run 20 miles an hour, so we got faster. Those 5 players that ran 22 miles an hour, Isaiah Santana, no surprise there. Andrew Armstrong, no, not really shocking. Tyrone Broden, AJ Green, and Malik Chavis. Now, I've heard Chavis is quick. I've heard that before. And, of course, we know AJ Green's fast. Sam Pittman on lifting. He was talking about going from 4 to 5 days. We went 5 days this year of lifting, where last summer we went 4. I think that the culture, the attitude of this team was outstanding. as good as it could be in the climate, in this climate of portal and NIL. So we're obviously bigger, which has a lot to do with the nutritionist as well. But we're bigger. Our body fat count is down. What's that like? So a lot of positive things, and I just feel like our team. I just feel like our team. We pressed them pretty hard. Scrolling down here. Up. Let's see. Isaac Tesla. Now I must have missed this part. And I'm reading this that was sent to me. What he had to say about Tesla being a freak show, and I didn't have a chance. I tried to watch his whole press conference, and I must have missed this. But so apparently someone asked him about Tesla, and he said, "Man, he's a freak show. He's a freak show." I'm glad we got him and nobody else did. But I mean, you're talking. He's like a 515-pound squatter at 215 pounds. Yeah, that's pretty extraordinary. He's running high 21 miles per hour. Could probably have done. Well, okay, he's talking about his. Let's see. I think he hit 350 or 355 on his bench. This dude is bench pressing 350 pounds at 215. I mean, you're talking about a receiver now, you know. So, but Tesla, the best thing about that kid is he shows up and he works like it's his last day every day. And what he does is elevates. We talked about that a second ago. He elevates the whole room. Elevates not only his position group at the DBs, everybody. I mean, it does, and it sticks out. But unbelievable kid, unbelievable human being, and we're lucky to have him. So Isaac Tesla, again, just turning heads. I mean, if listen, there is such a thing as workout heroes and practice heroes, guys that are just, you know, you used to read about them all the time back in the day, and then game time would come and they disappear. I could be wrong, but I don't think that's going to be Tesla. I mean, this dude, he's turned it on, man, and he did it especially like week 2, week 3 on into spring camp. And he did it again today. He just continues to show that he's got the he could have the it factor. Really impressed with Tesla, at least through the off season. Again, you never know what's going to happen once those lights turn on, man. When you're when you know you're being watched by 75, 80. Well, I don't know how many people are going to show up to these games this year. I hope a lot, but let's be conservative. 60,000 people. Who knows? He's never played in front of that many people before. Being on national television, right? I mean, these things matter. When the lights come on, does he bring it? You know, does he bring it on? Yeah, they talked about who ran 22 miles an hour. There's another thing. They talked about nutrition. Was it Limmer's goal all offseason to squat 700 pounds? And he just kind of references, do I think it was a goal? Yes. Do I think he had that in mind? I don't know. I know the goal for us is when I sat down with Bo, when I got the job, is obviously, okay, he's saying obviously that Bo Limmer's a strong guy, and he wanted to continue to get stronger. Last year, I think he hit around 650, 660, and then to come back, he's played a lot of plays for the Hogs, but to be able to come back and do the amount of volume of running, let's see, because I ran them a lot, but to still do that, but to still hit that is very impressive. So yeah, I mean, that's impressive. Oh my God, squatting 700 pounds. Congrats to Bo Limmer, man. That's awesome. They talked about Devin Manuel a little bit. Yeah, he says, so Devin got down pretty low. He came in pretty high, dropped a lot of weight, got down to about 282, but he weighed, let me say, Devin's weight is at 310. So he had some stuff going on with his body. We had to figure some things out that was kind of irritating his stomach, and he wasn't resting very well too. We got that all figured out. Like I said, he got pretty low at about 282, 284. He's back up to 310. It looks like their goal is to keep him just under about 320 pounds. So, yeah, there you go, man. That's about everything from Ben Souders, strength conditioning coach. That's not everything. I'm telling you, he talked a lot. The media had a lot of the writers had a lot of questions for him, and he did a good job. This is his first time talking with Arkansas media. But yeah, his quote sheet is just forever. So I definitely saw the weight a little bit on some guys. I thought they certainly looked. You could tell it was day one. You know, they were out before the sun came out. Before it was shining down on the practice field, burning us all up. But, yeah, it felt like day one. It really did. It felt like a day one practice. They started off a little slow, but they certainly got a little bit better. What's up, Ty? Have you noticed more multiple tight end sets in Enos offense? I know he used tight ends, but. Yeah, so, again, we didn't get to see a whole lot today. We got, what was it, six periods. We couldn't film in 2, so unfortunately that's when they do their fastball and we can't film it. But certainly saw some pistol set. Pretty sure I thought they ran a 2 tight end set, but I could be wrong. Keep in mind, sometimes what I'm doing is I'm filming one individual person, and sometimes I don't see the whole field. But if they did do two tight end set, I'm not sure. They ran. It was so fast up and down the field. But I did see them run a little bit of pistol, and you can tell, man, they want that tempo. Love hearing words like outstanding from your head coach. Yeah, absolutely, for sure. All right. Well, that's really about everything that there is. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to fire away. I'll give you a couple minutes here before I log, or before we start our way out here. I will not be able to I won't be able to go to practice tomorrow. We got to go to Camp War Eagle, pick up our daughters. They've been there all week. Missing my kids, man. Haven't had them all week. So we're going to go pick them up tomorrow morning. I won't be able to go to practice. But yeah. So I don't have the practice schedule in front of me, but I'm going to try, just like last year, I'm going to try and make every single one of these practices. I think I missed I know it was at least one day last fall camp, so I want to go to as many as I can, get as much footage as I can. So, yeah. There you have it. Guys running fast, other guys lifting a lot of weight. And there is a lot. Those videos are out everywhere. Everyone's got one posted. I didn't post any of mine today. I was in the Zoom call, but I didn't. I did record it. Obviously, I cut it up, but I didn't post it on YouTube. But you can find it. Hog Sports, Hog Beat, those guys have it published on their YouTube channel. So if you want to go watch that, yeah, it got warm today for sure. My car in the parking lot when I was leaving read like 97 degrees. I think it did. It tried to break 100 degrees at one point in Fayetteville, I feel like. But your car temperature's never right. It's never on par with your phone, with your iPhone weather or whatever. It's never on par. It's always like 8 degrees warmer. I guess because you're, so close to the pavement. That's for real heat, man. Closer to the pavement you get, that's for real heat. Yeah, so again, I appreciate you guys. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you're new here. Slobber knocking smash mouth. There you go. That's it. Appreciate you guys coming through. Post games are on this year. It's just like the previous several years. We're obviously gonna keep doing the post game shows. Midweek, we're gonna try and get on a schedule starting week 1. I'm gonna give my official prediction for wins and losses that Monday as they're getting ready for that week 1 opponent. Who do you think are the top 3 corners? McLaughlin and who else really needs Singletary? It's probably going to end up being Singletary in that mix. It's tough to say when you ask like top 3 corners because Sam said himself today that he felt like, that someone's they're going to have to shore up the safety spot. what that means exactly. Maybe that means moving Lorando to safety. I don't know. Walcott maybe to safety. I know the assumption was that Walcott was going to play the nickel maybe. Maybe Dallas Young, Jalen Lewis going to shore up the nickel spot and they move Walcott back to safety. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. Top three corners. I could tell you, I think it's going to end up being Dwight McLaughlin, Lorando Johnson, and probably Hudson Clark as your top three DBs, if we're talking safety or corner. But, I mean, that's just a guess at this point. You just kind of feel that's where they're headed. Like, those are going to be your top three guys who they rely on week in and week out. So, all right, shout out again. Appreciate the whiskey. Don't Read the Comments podcast, who gifted me this for being on their pod yesterday. Doughball. It is delicious. You got to be careful because it tastes so good. You might drink so much that you get a little hammered. That's so good. All right. I will see you guys next week. We will chat. I'm assuming I'm going to go live again on Monday, but I'll try to keep you guys up to date. I'll see you guys then. Enjoy your weekend. Stay hydrated. Stay safe. All right. I'll see you next week.